Yeah. Okay, so start out, do we have minutes from,
No, you'll
Two
vote those
cents.
tomorrow.
we'll do it tomorrow, thank you. Alright, so we do have some things to but re-vote from last week because Jody has told us that rightly it was kind of an issue, so I'm gonna turn it over to Brian and if you wanna explain or.
Yeah, so, let's see, go to section 10, page 181. We had a question about the workman's comp.
Right.
So the workman's comp is actually where it belongs, because if we move it, then Jody has to create all types of accounts in other sections of the budget to make that work, and we don't want to do that, that's crazy. So we're gonna make a motion for subtotal of operations to $119,150.
A second. Anybody have any questions? So just as a reminder, we moved $8,500. We took it out of operations, suggested putting it in salary. Jody has explained to us that that's not a good idea and would be very difficult to move and create a different account
She has to
somewhere.
create taxation accounts in order to make that work, so. It's where it belongs, it's the bottom line.
Okay, but we're still removing the 10,000 I believe.
Yes,
Yep,
Yep.
that's all set.
yep.
I'll second it.
Well, I
Is that,
second it.
Oh, you did?
Go ahead, Nick.
Question, Jody, is that something that could be rectified easily next year? Or is it gonna be a continuing issue?
So currently on the taxation side, that's in insurance. So if you want to move workers' compensation to a salary line, I need you guys to tell me what department you want me to move workers' comp to on the taxation side.
It logistically it'd be a nightmare.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You answered that.
So, all right, any other questions?
I'm all set.
All right, all those in favor?
Okay, and on the 10,000 that we did move out, let's see, let's stay on page 181 for a minute.
Yep.
So we didn't vote the salary line, which we need to, so make a motion to fund the salary line at the original amount of $1,015,526.
Second?
Second,
All right, Bill, second. Any questions? That was originally there. Okay, all those in favor? Nothing.
And then on the 10,000 that we moved out, that's gonna go to the section 3 finance,
Page
page
19.
19. And, let's see, so that would take the subtotal of revenues. $6,522,850, so moved.
Why are we moving that over there? I thought we were just taking that out.
No,
No.
those were the stop work orders, and they didn't want it to look like that the code office was trying to fund themselves by putting stop work orders under there, so we took it out, and we had to decide where it was gonna go, and we had to wait for Jody to tell us where to put it, so it goes under finance, under revenue.
Okay.
And that's where the select board wants it to go as well, so that it doesn't look like the code office just going out putting stop work orders for no reason.
Are we gonna label that as stop work orders and stuff
It will
still?
be under stop work orders, yeah.
Okay.
It will be labeled subdivision violations.
Okay.
The stop work orders are already there.
Yeah, it's 15,000 on stop order, work orders.
Okay.
All right, so we have a motion on the 6,522,850.
Second.
Okay, Dave, second. Any, Richard, do you have a question?
No.
Okay. Any questions? No? All right, all those in favor? Okay, thank you. So now we have Parks and Rec. The reunion show.
Tina.
Hello.
Section 6.
Hi, Tina.
Page 90. Alright, Bob, you wanna?
Yeah, okay, on the taxation component, I know we don't talk about salary and benefits, so I'll talk about head count. This budget, is proposing to go from 5 people to 6 people. Is a recreation program assistant, is that the position?
The assistant, yeah, for a programmer, yes.
So, one additional head count. Jumping down to operations. Pretty flat to the prior year. There is, field maintenance operating supplies, we reclassified some expenses there, Tina, is that what we did?
Yes, we took it out of operating and we put a separate budget for field maintenance itself that was requested by the budget board a
Yep.
year ago.
Yeah,
That's what
and,
it's-
I think we talked about this, but why telephone drop?
That's because they went to fiber, so
Fiber,
GWI is now, it's all fiber, so the telephone bill is now in a different account.
Very good, okay. I make a motion to approve the 101,500 for subtotal operations.
Second that. Alright, so questions, Mark, go ahead.
The operating supplies again, it dropped from the 59 down to 35, what was the reason for that?
We used to have our field maintenance part of the operating supplies,
Okay.
and you guys wanted to see it broken down in a separate budget, so we just moved it in a line item itself. So you'll see now there's a line item for field maintenance where it was zero before, now it's got a figure, dollar figure in it.
Okay, but it's gone up by a net of around $10,000 in addition to last year, so what was the reason for the increase?
That's the actual, the field maintenance plan for our grub control and all, and everything that's through seeding, grub control, of that's from the contractors. They all went up exponentially.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Mark, Bill?
No?
Hey, Dave?
Whereabouts do we have the, how much they've taken in? Is that another area?
Oh, that's in
So
the
that's-
enterprise zone.
In an
Yeah,
enterprise,
We're gonna
okay.
talk about that, that's in section 10.
Okay, that's fine, then I have no questions.
Okay, Right, all good.
Good.
Anything else, Bob? Great.
No, good.
Okay, all those in favor? 6-0. Okay, you wanna talk about an activity center?
Want me, yeah, sure,
Go ahead.
activity center, $30,000 in 2025. Looks like we're on target to hit that number through 6 months. Slight increase next year, all due to telephone. That's the accounting reclassification, moving phones elsewhere, right?
Right.
So, make a motion to approve 27,875.
I'll second it. Okay, Richard second. Go ahead, do you have a question? No? Bill?
Nope.
Dave?
Nope.
Alright. Richard, okay, all those in favor? So now, the CIP. Okay, so these, starting on page 91, one of the things that we should know is that these CIPs, as shown to us, the project funding source, it says taxation. This is actually coming out of the enterprise fund, okay, so it is not coming out of taxation. We're not voting on these right now. I'm actually wondering whether, quite frankly, since they're coming out of the enterprise fund, whether we are actually even voting on them. But we can talk about them anyway. The first one is the flooring in the office space. And the other one is to deal with the hot water heater, so it's $18,000. The one question I asked Tina was, is the $14,000 enough? Is it gonna be really good vinyl flooring? And she said, of course.
Of course, I don't wanna say of course, let's just say we hope so, we're.
Yeah. No, I just know that stuff is expensive and if it's industrial, but she did say it's commercial stuff and it'll be good. So I don't know, let me just. Mark, do you have any questions about it?
Just on the hot water tank, are we going, how come we're not looking at a tankless hot water tank, just on that?
That's what this is, actually.
That's what it is, okay.
Yeah, it's exactly what I'm looking for.
Alright, great.
Okay, Bill?
No, I was gonna promote heat pump, water pump. I put one in my house, I love it. And it's cheap.
Do you have to have a heat pump for it, or?
Pardon?
This is going to be an on-demand hot water tank.
Yeah,
So
they make electric on demands now.
it's not electric, we will be
No, no, I know that,
gas.
but that's what he's saying,
that's
they make
what you're
electric
saying?
now.
Yeah, but this one has gas, it's already provided gas in the building, so I don't know whatever's,
And I don't think the electrics give as much as the gas ones do. It's fast per gallon on the rise.
Probably so.
I'll look into both, but I think.
It's worth taking a look at.
Dave?
Nope, I'm fine with it.
Okay. The next one is not, it's not being done. This CIP, so just so we have a discussion about it on page 92, this is to fix the field. For those, some people may remember, there are pictures, Tina provided us pictures of what happened in right field. And we're talking about right field because it's where the softball field is. And then there's left field, it still is a stump dump, it has the stumps in it. The projected cost would be as Tina has said, $250,000 to $300,000. It's not in taxation, but she doesn't have the money in the enterprise to be able to do it. Otherwise, it would just wipe out her account if she did it. And I do wanna say that when we're talking about other revenue streams that we want to access and what the budget board is urging the select board to look at and access. And we think about the fact that there's a project that really needs to be done. It's been like this for a long time. This whole field was originally a stump dump. And we're talking, how was it 10 plus years ago that I was a coach for the rec, for the little kids going around before games filling in holes. Right, to make sure nobody twisted their ankles. My 27-year-old daughter still complains about the ankle she twisted when she had to play. And she did, she twisted it really badly and it still hurts, you know, because she was over there practicing high school lacrosse on that field, in the left field. It's bad. And the idea that we're not able to do something like this year, you know, I think hurts. So that's all I'll say. I don't know if anybody else has a, and I understand why, as a town, we can't put it in here right now, because we're already looking at a significant increase in our tax rate. I'm just saying, when we're looking at other sources of revenue, I think we ought to, that's another reason for us to be looking at other sources of revenue.
But does that make sense to, for our recreation department to put kids on a field that is sort of a safety issue?
Does not make sense.
Maybe that should be priority over something else that we've got in the middle.
Yeah, I don't know where, I mean, right now.
The way you
Tina-
describe it,
Yeah.
it's a hazard.
Right now, Tina didn't, well, if you look at, I mean, look at the pictures from what it looked like when they took out the stumps the last time.
Yeah.
That's what they pulled out of right field,
I know. That's nuts.
right? That's what's probably in left field. And so, and it's not done rotting either.
Should be done.
It can't be done rotting, but the issue is it's not even something right now, I understand, that it could be split. It can't even really be split right now. Tina doesn't have the 150,
Yeah, no.
and we don't have the 150. So, I'm not saying this is why I'm bringing it up. It's something where I'm not suggesting it was wrong to
Sure. No, I
zero it
appreciate
out and not have it. But it's just it's an issue. And now all I'm talking about is when we're talking about revenue that we're leaving on the table, and we can't do something like this because we're already looking at a significant percentage-wise tax increase, not dollar-wise,
Correct.
percent.
Correct. Yeah, and for the record, I absolutely support this 100%.
I know.
We just have to look at
is there somewhere else that we can take from to fund this, or is this something we move to a year out, maybe after revenues increase?
Mark, go ahead.
Is it possible to do this project in stages, I mean, over a 2 or 3 year period? I mean,
You gotta rip
do
it.
the infield first and then.
It's a rip and replace as
You
far
gotta
as
rip
I,
out it, rip it all out.
yeah, just otherwise you're out of business that whole period.
That's what we did. We did the right field in stages because we kept the left field playing so that we would have still some field space, and that's what we did. So this is the second stage technically.
Has the infield been done?
The infield does not need it because that was done differently. When they dug it out and made the infield, it was done differently. We haven't had any issues with
So
that.
it's not the infield,
It's
it's just
just
the
this,
outfield,
it's center
the
left,
five.
The infield probably has a clay base.
exactly.
Tina, did the town staff do the other portion, the
Yes.
outfield at the time?
Yes, they did.
And-
The Public Works Department, and our staff, including myself, worked on that field. So we were able to save money there. That's why it did. But then we couldn't afford to do the other side at that next year, so.
And the challenge there is our personnel is stretched so thin now with the infrastructure that we're having to deal with, that to dedicate those resources to that would take away from everything else they have to tend to.
Is right field good? No soft spots?
No, right field's okay, except that what happens is that when they did that, they drained it towards the center. And then this field now is decomposing, everything's draining now towards center field, so we have a big pool of water when it rains.
So they didn't,
Basically down the center.
so
we
they
have
didn't
to
do it right?
Well, it's not that they didn't do it right, it's just everything's shifting all the time, and when they did do it, they did as best they could. It wasn't, I won't say professionally done, because Public Works was great, but they didn't have the equipment
Sure.
as they would a landscaping, or excuse me, like an excavation company. But they did a great job, and we used it for many years, and now, that was 2013, so we're now, what, 12 years later, is that right?
Yeah, so it's gotta be
something like
15 years when I was filling in holes.
that. I mean, we do, we top fill it all the time, when there's a hole, there'll be a sinkhole that'll just appear, up like knee deep. So we fill that, and then the next thing we fill another one, and some of them we don't see because they're just little divots, and then we try to fill them as best we can when we see them, so. And the maintenance guy pretty much finds them because when he mows, he can feel them, so then they'll go back out, so.
Well, like Ron says, it's really discouraging because we've been pushing for the fees to be reviewed for at least the last 3 years on the recommendations to the select board in the town, so I just think that we've got a lot of lost opportunity out there.
Alright, anybody else have
Address
any
the whole
comments?
field?
I'm sorry?
Can we address the whole field with a layer of,
We would have to
Something
scrape
to-
off the top of it and then put down some sand and whatnot, so that's what I basically, I didn't put in here for they're actually digging out all the stumps either, it was more hoping that a lot of the decay was taken care of, so it won't be as much. And that's what it was leveling everything and draining it towards the wood lines in the back, so you'd have to top dress everything.
So was this number based on some sort of preliminary estimate or an estimate from a
This is
contractor?
from talking to contractors, not a legitimate estimate, cause it's so much that's unforeseen. So it's a little bit like, we're hoping maybe 200,000, but they said, you don't know what you're gonna find when you get in there, so.
Right.
So we bumped it up a little more just in case.
So it's an educated guess.
Yeah, it's a
That's what
somewhat
estimates are.
educated guess, yes.
That's what estimates are, an educated guess.
Tina, am I correct, this is the first year that you brought this component forward?
It's the first year that I brought it as a CIP request, but I had been trying to put money aside, but things got just changed and our priorities had changed throughout the years, so we just didn't have enough money to put aside for it.
So if we don't advance, I'd encourage that you bring it next year.
Yep.
And we'll see what we can do with that.
So 95, page 95 is for a rider mower, again, on our page, it talks about taxation being the funding source, but that's gonna be from enterprise as well. I mean, it says that in the bottom right, I'm just talking about up in the top, if you look. So it is coming from enterprise, it's a regular zero turn motor, mower. The estimate is from Abbott's, the old one will be turned in. And I don't know if anybody has any questions, Mark, do you have any questions?
Just what type of mower is it?
What type of it? It's a model. You're asking me?
Who's
Okay.
the
It's a
manufacturer?
model MT 27 horsepower. It's a walker. Walker.
It's a walker.
It's a walker.
Yep.
Is that what you meant?
Yes, what type of brand it was,
It's right in the book.
Well, that's what we looked at.
Thank you.
Bill?
Oh, no, I had a walker, they're good.
I'll say.
Did you say the old mower's being turned, did you say
I think
turned
you
in?
said, I think traded in.
Traded.
Oh, it is gonna trade, so we're gonna get some value out of it. Oh, good, okay.
I don't know what the word. I like that snort from Dave.
So on Facebook.
Okay. Alright, on page 98 is the playground equipment addition, to the, $50,000. Again, this is, it says it's from enterprise, so this is part of the enterprise account. Mark, do you have any questions? Bill?
I'm good.
Dave?
What, we're gonna actually put a concrete slab out there for the new one?
Not for the playground, that's for the shelter.
Oh, okay.
That's where the parents sit and with the grandparents.
Oh, okay.
We've got a new wooden structure out there right now.
Yeah, so that includes part of this in the
That-
50,000?
That's true, yes, that's correct.
Tina, this is a quote from a vendor, 50,000?
No, the quote is for the shelter, part of that's in there, but it's more picking out small pieces to add to the playground. So that we're gonna spend up to.
Okay, good, thanks.
All set.
Alright, so let's move on to the enterprise account. It's on page 182, section 10.
Which is great.
Alright, Tina, I know we talked about the issue in, if I can just jump to,
Playground?
help me out, the
Playground expense?
playground expense.
Bump it from 15 to 50.
Right, but remember you were gonna take a look at, like, was it adding up correctly when you added in the CIPs that were going in?
Well, that's where, when I originally put my projections in, it was going to just be the shelter, and then we added the pieces to the
Okay.
CIP, so that's why I was gonna bring that to your attention, Jody, that I think we need to change that 15 to 50.
Yeah.
That's on playground expense.
Okay. So that means when we look at this, the 348 is gonna be 398?
383.
What?
Three,
I thought you just
three,
said, oh, sorry, you're gonna bump it, sorry,
348.9 goes up by
Right.
35
thank you,
to 383.
okay, 900?
Yep.
Alright. Thanks, Bob. No wonder you're a finance guy. Alright, let's look at the revenues, subtotal revenues. Do you wanna talk anything about that, Bob?
No, I'm good, Ron, I think I'm good with it.
We will say that there is a new tennis revenue line. That is a bit of an estimate right now. It's called the tennis revenue line, but it probably should be called the tennipickle line, ball line or something like that, right? Because there are 6 pickleball courts
6 and 2.
and two tennis courts, right? So, but it has its tennis revenue, but anyway, there's gonna be a new online reservation system. Tina's gonna have an enforcer in a hut there, to make sure people actually behave and get off the court when they're supposed to.
Are we serious? Are you serious?
Oh, yeah, I'm deadly
Okay,
serious.
alright.
I
couldn't
I know I'm
tell.
saying it with.
serious?
No, you're a little incredulous when you think that there has to be that, but apparently we're anticipating that need.
So it's a machine gun nest?
But apparently, you know, we don't know if we'll end up with pickleball tennis wars or something, but you know.
I think it's going to be fine. It's more of a, we're just putting there, someone there so they can answer questions and be there for.
Yeah,
She's so
Help.
diplomatic.
just to keep it moving and.
Right, right, and of course, our office is right there on
That's why
site
she
too, that
electrified
helps
the
too,
fence
so
now.
we'll
Now I
we'll be
know
there
why.
to keep it flowing and hopefully a smooth transition
Are you
into
gonna
it.
build a little hut or something?
There is one. We built it.
So anyway, that's an added source of revenue, which is, you know, good, and the expenses against that are 3,400. So anyway. Are we gonna vote the 701,000 for subtotal revenue?
Make a motion, approve it?
Second that?
Right, Mark, go ahead.
Just the cost of the residents on the pickleball and how is that dynamic work as far as scheduling a game of pickleball on the court and how much does it cost for the residents?
Okay, so basically it'll be an online reservation system. We don't have the exact amount of, the cost is going to be yet, we're still working on that. However, there will be a membership fee and a non-membership, cost. So if you reserve a court, you'll be charged a certain amount if you're a resident, it'll be less than if you're, I mean, not a resident, if you're a member. And it'll be less if you're not, I mean, more if you're a non-member. Does that make sense? Did I just say that right? Let's
Just a
back
little
up.
bit.
So there'll be a membership fee if you wanna buy a membership fee.
So there'd be a yearly membership fee for the court.
It'll be yearly, but this is a seasonal court, so it's more of a, it's, you'll consider it a year, but it's more of a season.
Okay. Alright, thank you.
Bill?
Good.
I'm fine.
Question.
Yep.
Tina, the rec commission revenue, did that money go into the tennis revenue or is that just dropping?
That's going into the playground.
That's going to the playground.
We're gonna spend some money out of that to go into the playground equipment.
And wrestling revenue, is that just going away
It
completely?
goes into the wrestling program. They raise money, they'll do fundraisers and they put it towards
Okay.
uniforms and.
Yeah. Thank you.
I have a question. Mike, would we ever consider we have the taxation section and we have the enterprise section. Would we ever consider putting it all together so we can see just what, everything Tina's responsible for in one place, so we don't have to jump around? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, typically enterprise accounts work as an independent section.
Sure.
It's almost as a micro business within the greater entity.
Yep.
And so typically you'll see it operate just like you have now. So we determine what comes from enterprise versus taxation. Does it serve the population that Tina serves as far as the enterprise piece?
Yep.
And so it's normally done this way.
Okay.
Also,
Alright, all those in favor? Alright. Salary and benefits. $540,277.
So move.
Second.
Alright, yep, all good. Alright, Mark, any questions?
No.
Bill?
Good.
Dave?
Good thing.
Good.
Alright, Richard, all those in favor? So now down to subtotal operations out of enterprise, those CIPs that we were talking about are coming out of this, so they're included in this subtotal enterprise. So it would be $383,900. $383,900.
Can I have you hold
You're
for
good?
1 second?
Of course.
So, down below in the operating side, where it says CIP, let's see, rec enterprise CIP funds transfer, Tina had 50,000, which was for the playground. The town manager has 75, that's where the 25,000 for the mower and the 50,000 for the playground is.
Yeah,
The 18 up above in building is for the building, the hot water tank and the flooring. So I don't think you need to add the additional 50.
okay,
So if
so
she
it's
wants,
90.
if
Okay,
she
go ahead, go
wants
ahead.
to put the whole expense under the playground expense, then you probably wanna reduce that 75,000 where it says CIP funds transfer.
Thank you, sorry, that's,
Okay, that's what I
That's
was trying
correct,
to
so
figure out.
that total still stays the same then.
So you don't think there's any place, you got the 18. Okay. The 25 and the 15.
Mhm.
Alright.
So we're going with the original.
Then was there, okay, so then the question then is, and I think this was the question, the playground expense 15, is that still, and I know that was taken from, you said that was taken from the rec commission revenue, right, or close to it, there's 13 taken. What's the 15 in the playground expense then?
Alright, that's where, sorry about that, that's my mistake, it is coming out of the 75. When I originally wrote in my projections, I was thinking we were changing the shelter, putting that up for 15,000. She in turn put it in the 75 thousand for the transfer of funds from CIP. So that's my mistake, so we're actually less 15 in
So
this
it's in there
column.
twice.
Okay, that's,
Yeah, it's in there twice.
that's what I was wondering, okay,
Yep.
that's what I was wondering
That
when
was
we
my
first,
mistake,
when we were
thank
first
you.
starting
So the
that.
75 becomes,
Now,
75 can stay 75 and you can
But-
take the 15 out or vice versa, take this.
but, I'm sorry, I apologize for interrupting, but you were talking earlier about the rec commission revenue is down 13, and you were saying that's because that was going into playground. Is that the 15?
Oh, down 13 for my projection, you mean?
Yeah,
No, it's just down 13.
it's just down, okay, so
Yeah,
it doesn't
it's
have
not-
anything to do with
Right,
pulling money.
there's a couple of
out.
fundraisers that weren't being done.
So it's really 333.
33,900,
Yeah.
yep,
So move. Before we go on,
go ahead.
I kinda have a problem with the fields up there in bad condition. Is there any way we can lend the enterprise fund 300,000 out of undesignated funds? And let them pay us back 50,000 a year for 6 years? Out of the enterprise?
So in your CIP that we're proposing, we're already using the amount of surplus funds that we can use for the fiscal year.
Trying to bring the
So
tension.
you would have to change another CIP when you vote on that next week.
Okay, I'm just thinking, you know, if we could somehow let, the enterprise fund needs to pay for it, and it will sooner or later, but if we somehow broke it out so they could get the field straightened out, nobody's gonna get hurt. I don't know how you
I like
guys
it.
feel about that.
I like it, fix the field.
But again, we can't just fix it because we're not gonna throw 300,000 on top of it, but at the same time, somewhere we should be able to pull a loan to the enterprise fund. Anywhere you see, Jody?
Off the top of my head, not.
Trees are bare outside right now. Fix the field.
What's that?
The trees are bare outside there, we can't reach out and pull them.
Yeah, there's no money out there,
You're
but
not growing? That's not part of the gardening program, the beautification of wells program?
The Benjamin tree.
We're already, in the current year we're in, we're using excess funds to help with her tennis court project, the pickleball. So we're already covering that deficit.
yeah, but she's paying that back.
No.
Yeah, but this is a
Oh,
loan I wanna do.
Right, but so my extra money that I have, I'm already allocating for her tennis court project. So off the top of my head, I can't tell you where I have another
Can we table this till?
Oh, well, we're not
tomorrow night?
voting on that.
Alright, so can we see if we can find it somewhere?
To your point, what we can do, here's what we can do. We can still vote the operations and the revenue, right?
Yep.
Because it doesn't include those things, but
Correct.
we can come back to this, cause our whole CIP conversation ends up.
Yeah,
Let's leave this on the CIP conversation then.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm just thinking that
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a good thought.
I agree the fund needs to pay for it, the enterprise fund, but at the same time, if we give them a loan, I mean, we've done it before. And say we want it paid off in 5 years, 60,000 a year in 5 years, which is very reasonable, she can budget that into her projects now, at least we'll get the field taken care of. She doesn't have the money now, you don't have any money, or if you have anything to throw at it, I don't know.
No, not at this time, because we've got the other CIP requests as well that's been taken
Yeah,
out.
but I mean, going next year, you could budget in 60,000 a year until it's paid off, and I mean, at least it's not gonna cost the town any interest rates to borrow or anything like that there, maybe, maybe we can make it work. something to think about.
Yeah, no, it's a good thought. It's a good thought. Can we do that then? Can we think about
We'll take it-
that?
sure, we'll take a look.
And leave it as part of the CIP
Voting, yes.
voting or discussion
Yep.
in the chart?
I think what we might be seeing is some concern about the safety out there in the fields. That's your
That's what I'm
concern.
bothered about, I mean, you've got the
That's
kids
my
running
concern,
around
I
out
know.
there twisting ankles and, you know, it's just, we know about it, we really need to look at it and take care of it, I mean,
And it's not just,
do it once, do it right, finish it, top coat the fields, regrade them the right way and be done with it.
and we're not exaggerating. I mean, I'm not exaggerating from what I experienced.
It's a lot of work.
And that's a while ago.
I mean, while you're investigating this, one thing you may wanna look at is an opportunity to pick up on a grant. There are such things out there, you have to look for them. But maybe that's something we ought to take a good look at.
Yeah, absolutely. We're acquiring a number of grants for different things, so Tina, we can look and see what's out there maybe for recreation, may be able to do.
Yeah, and even if we somehow loan the money to ourselves to begin with, and we do get a grant, when the grant comes in, you can use that to pay off part of the loan.
Oh, yeah.
We will go on the hunt for some money.
So do we, on the next page is 183, do we vote the year-round position even though it's coming out of the enterprise fund, because it's a position?
We're still waiting on legal to give us guidance, so
Okay.
we are putting it forward right now as that the town would have to vote. Oh.
Alright.
So the charter says, so the charter says all new positions need to be voted by the people.
Okay,
So the question is,
because it's coming out of enterprise, does it really have to, okay, so we'll table it then?
I still think you're safe going it through and bringing it to the people, because you don't want everybody yelling. The enterprise funds are going around the
Yeah.
back door.
I'm okay to use it, I was thinking that we would have to vote, so do you want us to take a
Yes,
vote?
yes.
Okay, alright, so,
Question
go ahead,
before we go there. So subtotal operations, you're not voting it?
we are, thank you.
You have to vote that.
Yep. Sorry, we got the 333,900, we gotta
So moved.
move, we got a second. All questions answered, thank you, Brian. All those in favor? Thank you. Alright. So, it's a part-time, year-round rec program assistant. Any questions on this? Mark, Bill?
What do they bring the head count up to?
For full-time staff, 6.
6.
I'll find.
Alright, motion for the new part-time year-round recreation program assistant.
So moved.
Second.
Alright, all those in favor? Alright, thank you, Tina, very much, nice job.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tina.
Alright, have a good night, guys.
And reignite our guilt next year if nothing happens.
I'm a master doesn't need to come, we have no more money left.
Okay. Okay.
He's gonna loan it
Alright.
I told you we were starting from the bottom of the schedule, moving up.
Leave a break? Yep, excuse myself, I've got a Wednesday for what meeting? I have to run.
Okay, page 99.
Oh, looks like us.
Who is it? Mark and Bill?
Yeah, not an awful lot in the numbers, just to comment, this is quite a hybrid accounting. It's a weird bucket, but we live with it. The majority of the revenues that come in are loosely affiliated with the harbor master. These are the two leases, the restaurant, and the harbor marina, and they kind of tend to themselves. I did ask Mike about a very small item here that he's in control of is the bait locker hoist. He does increase that almost annually. He's getting as much out of it as that he can without going overboard, as it were. So those revenues are pretty self-explanatory, and as I say, the two major ones really have little to do with operations. So I would suggest that we vote on the 113,012.
Okay, take a motion, is that a motion?
That's a motion.
Second?
Second that.
Richard second. Okay, Mark, any questions?
No,
Or
just to make
comments?
just to make a statement is, the ice machine down there is 7 years old, and from what I'm understanding is the new one's gonna be 15,000, so you may wanna put that on the radar. But other than that, we're all set.
Everything's 15 down there. Oyster's 15, the big pools are 15, for everything's 15 now.
Dave?
So the ice machine, what today, just a cooler like a regular restaurant machine?
No, it makes ice, it's an ice maker.
Yeah, just like a restaurant one, of
Yeah,
the big ones.
well, a little bigger, it fills up Exacta bins that are 4x4 basically.
And what do we get for the ice?
We get $20 for an Exacta,
Okay,
and we get $2 a bucket, and $7 for a fish dough,
so a bucket's five gallons?
5 gallons. We were charging nothing.
Yeah, I
so-
know.
So we just got the
But it-
program going, it was kinda,
somehow we gotta get the revenues up because that's gonna be an expensive machine to buy and upkeep.
yeah,
So the question is how much cheaper you, I don't wanna hear from other places, but to buy it locally, if they had to go buy their own ice without convenience, how much cheaper are they?
yeah, it'd be more than that. I'm trying to stay just under that, and we're actually, outside of tuna fishing, I don't mind, I've had people come to me during moose hunting season, and they wanna fill up some stuff and take it out, and I don't mind selling that. If I have an abundance of it. I think the long range goal might be to have 2 down there. It depends. Once we started, before we started charging, there wasn't enough ice.
Yeah, of course.
Once we started charging, there's pretty much enough ice.
That's how it always is.
So we probably ran out twice last year, whereas we'd run out once a week before when it was free.
Okay.
Okay.
So there is, I mean, we got a harbor board meeting coming up, I'll throw it out there.
Yeah, I mean, we need to look at all the fees in the town. I mean, it's gonna become an expensive,
We've been aggressive down there the last 3 years,
no, I understand that.
including, starting charging for the ice.
The other thing I was wondering, where are the fees for the moorings?
They're in what's called the harbor mooring account, which combines with, we use that to do pilings.
Yeah.
And like the makeover we just did, plus it's combined with the beach enterprise for dredging.
Okay. So it doesn't go into your actual income for the harbor itself, for like the bait and everything else? It's spent
Everything
out
total this year is
almost
like
like an
200.
enterprise.
It does, right, it does not go into taxation, it goes
Okay.
to a special reserve fund.
Right. All set. Good.
Richard?
Fine.
Alright, then all those in favor of the 113,012? So how about subtotal operations, $49,279, anything to say?
There's one correction to be made there. I started asking Mike about it, he brought it right to our attention, that the transportation at 7,000. It's gonna be decreased to 2,000 on the basis that the truck buyout will eliminate those lease fees. So
A
rather
little over 2,000, I think it, what was the figure I gave you?
no, you thought it'd be about 2,000,
2318.
2318.
2318.
Turn your hearing aids on.
Yeah, maybe that's what. Say, we actually get that specific.
2300 sounds great.
Yes.
Yes,
Let's say 2,300?
yeah.
That sounds good.
Oh, the total will be 2,300 instead of 7,000.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, so it'll decrease operations by that amount. Assuming that the CIP gets voted in, of course. So what we're looking at here then is operations corrected to would be 42,579, I believe.
Is it 42 or 44 from 49, 47?
How much are you taking out of the 49? 5?
Okay, we're taking out
5,700?
5,700. Yeah, I didn't do that right.
Is that right?
4,700.
47, that's what I had originally, okay.
47.
So it's 44,579? Okay. That's what I had.
Okay, 47,
So it's 44,579?
Right, I agree.
Okay, you are the guy.
Well, no, that's what I.
I'm just scratching
If I'm
here.
hearing him right.
I'm scratching here with a pen.
He just did that in his head.
No.
Okay. It's a challenge.
the only other thing I'd bring your attention to is the boat cost of $3,000 estimated. That really is repairs, it's things like shrink wrapping it. Of course, we know cost has gone up considerably for all boats. So that's what that's comprised of. Other than that, things are pretty flat.
Mark, did you say you had any questions? No? Okay. Dave?
No, I'm all set.
Richard?
Yeah, pier maintenance expense line. Historically, the last 3 years, it's averaged about 15,000. You're estimating or you're budgeting 10,000?
The last 3 years, we replaced the hoist 1 year and the 2 bait cooling units, which are all 15,000. So I thought we'd take a year off and try 10. And I put 6 in my equipment in case something broke, I'd have 16 there, hopefully. Okay. Go easy on my equipment. But generally, like, there's 4 big $15,000 pieces of equipment there. That break. So.
Good. I'm all set.
So we need I think we need a motion for $44,579.
Yes,
Mark? Okay, Bill, second?
a second.
Okay. All those in favor?
And
Go ahead.
I'd like to continue on from that, as Dave brought up. The majority of actual operating revenues are the moorings and the floats. And what's estimated this year is another increase. Mike's doing a great job bringing revenues there and the changes and additions he's done down there. That accounts for $200,000. But that goes on to the reserve fund that goes elsewhere. But it should be noted that that is being accomplished. And on the same note, we're talking about expenses. We've got a listed amount here, $250,000, which is really an aberration. It's more of a capital expense. It's going to match a grant that Mike has gotten. And what it is going to be the addition, not replacement, but addition of roughly 24-foot floats that are gonna be added to the right side of the pier. And this will enhance, I think primarily, commercial fishing.
Charter boat.
Charter boats, yeah. And that, of course, is going to induce other revenues to the various funds that we look to have those coffers filled up. So you gotta put this in perspective. Again, think in terms of another $200,000 of revenues and that $250,000 of long-term investment.
Yeah, so we have a grant coming from the Small Harbor Improvement from the Maine DOT for $250,000. It's either coming late 2025 or 26, and it's an even match. And we have an abundance of charter boats, and they don't seem to come and go at different times. They all seem to pick the same schedule, and there's just not room for them. So this is gonna build what eventually is gonna be a walk to, 2-slip improvement that they live on. They embark and disembark and they spend the night there, so they will really have no need to go to the main float and tie it up like they have been.
Do we get paid by them?
What's that?
Do we get paid by them? The charter boats coming in and stuff?
Oh, they pay.
They
I
pay.
mean, they pay for their spot, yeah. Absolutely.
So they'll add to the coffers.
Good.
Question, Mike, this may have been discussed, and maybe I missed it, but in 2024, I see $429,000. And then why so much in 2024 and nothing in 2025? We'll back up.
Cause we got dredged,
Cause what?
cause we got dredged.
We dredged the harbor, they had to take out all the
Dredged the
floats.
harbor, we put in 39 new pilings and we bought about 100 new floats.
So you dredge the harbor, that'll generate more revenue.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
moorings have doubled. Our mooring revenue this year has doubled.
Okay, so 2025, I see $20,000 because we were unable to, because the harbor wasn't dredged and we didn't have the space, is that what we're saying?
Well, the
Oh,
harbor
that's
gets dredged
expenses.
every 3-4 years. It's not every year.
Right,
10.
Yeah, but that 20,000 is for expenses. We don't have to spend another 20 on it.
why 429 in 2024?
Because we redid the whole entire harbor, he changed all kinds of equipment out for expense.
Okay, and then
So-
why not the same number in 2025?
Because we're not dredging again and we're not buying that many floats. We have the separate grant that's gonna be for the charter boat area.
Okay.
And then over the last 2 years, we are replacing all the main floats through a grant from Department of, Parks and Lands, submerged lands actually.
Okay.
And we get 15,000 from them. The floats are about 40. We gotta match it with 25.
Okay.
They're building 2 right now. That'll be complete. All the main floats will be brand new.
Okay.
And that's separate from the $250,000 grant that's coming.
Thank you.
Mike,
They've done a great job down there.
Mike, you just mentioned when you mentioned about the dredging, the new type of dredging that you were talking about, with me and Jill, when we were down
That's my pet project.
there.
I've been working on that.
Gonna jet it.
Water injection dredging, yes. It's just, there's no beneficial use of the sand in this case with water injection dredging. It kind of loosens it up and it rolls down the slope and goes out with the tide. But there's no permission from landowners, there's no disposal permits, there's no, you need, the only thing you need is a dredge permit. And the Army Corps says, we don't care how you dredge, but you gotta get a permit for it. So it's just something that they do a lot in Europe, they're doing more in the United States now, and I'm just keeping an eye on it, cause we have built a prototype down there and it does work.
I think
Did I skip you, Dave?
Nope.
Okay.
I do wanna make one other comment. I think Mike also needs an accolade for this marine kind of living museum that they had built there. Very impressive building, and you built it for $78,000.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
amazing.
and with everything inside,
Yeah.
80,000, yeah.
So everybody should bring their kids down there.
Great spot.
Richard? So I just had a quick question. I know the mooring fees, the total revenue's up. Where did the mooring fees themselves go? Where are they?
So they all were the same, okay? They were, what was it, 150 base fee or
That
And-
sounds correct.
250 base fee and they were $15 a foot? Well, they're very much different now. We have floating docks that you row to. It's still nice to be on a dock, so those are priced different. We have the slips that you walk to. You don't need a skiff. You park and you walk down them. We have the moorings you have to row out to. A little less convenient. We only have 5 of those actually left now. You gotta climb from the skiff into the boat. So those are $30 a foot, which is the moorings are, which are what the surrounding harbors are, municipal harbors. The floating docks, which you row out to, which is a step up, is $40 a foot. And then the slips that you walk to are 55 a foot. And everybody wants water and electricity, and I said not for $55 a foot, so.
They all have a base fee of 150.
No, we did away with the base fee, strictly,
did away with the
strictly
base
by the foot.
Oh, okay.
So, we used to have some $400 mooring bills, which are now 800. Everything's kinda,
Is there still a long waiting list or?
yes.
The other thing that should be stated is the floating docks increase the ability to have a denser amount of boats. You can get more boats.
Yes, we have to be careful. how many we get in there. We have it's a limit of 150.
In the harbor total.
That's what the Army Corps permits for, 150 boats. And we're bumping up against it.
In total, all slips and moorings?
And I don't know if we can go ask to amend that and get 175. We might be able to fit 200 even now if we, you know, with the expansion. It's just something I'll talk to the Army Corps about.
But in general, fees are gonna be going up all over the place,
You mean?
for a mooring or a float,
Oh, yeah,
everything.
It's like slips. So Custom Floats, we're probably the biggest municipal marina in the state, with all the docks we have. The private marinas we have on either side of us, York and Kennebunkport, are probably $275 a foot.
Mhm.
So there's room, we just wanna go slowly.
No, I'm in favor of the fees going up.
Yeah, and we
Yeah,
for 3 years in a
I appreciate
row,
that.
we've hit them pretty
Yeah.
good, so I'd like to take at least a year off.
No, I
Without
understand.
complaints.
I understand.
Sticker shock.
Well, yeah, I understand. But, no, it's great. Any other questions? Okay, all those in favor? Okay, thanks, and then we have a CIP on page 101. Anything you guys wanna tell us about the
Storage building.
storage building?
Yeah, I have an excavator and a tractor down there and a boat, and they all sit outside all winter, all year. And this is about my third or fourth attempt to get this, built, to get that equipment inside. And the second purpose,
Mike, excuse me, what's sitting outside?
the equipment, the tractor and the
I gotcha,
excavator and
okay.
the boat.
Thanks.
And the second purpose would be to have a space to build our own floats instead of purchasing them. We're to the point now that we're pretty much full with floats. So what we'll be doing is replacing 30-year-old floats. And we're gonna save money because they have about 6 float drums on them, which are about $300 apiece. So that's about $1,800. So as we do this, I would like to take these floats and dissect them, take what's usable, build a new float using the old float drums and other stuff. And then, of course, that gives work to my assistants in the winter, a little bit here and there, if we can swap out 5 or 10 floats a year. And it should, a new float 7,500, I think we can build them for 5 or less, to be honest with you.
And the proposed location is in the lot where people put their
The very
trailers.
north
Yeah,
part,
in that,
In the parking lot?
Yep.
yeah, in that, in that picture, it certainly is a waste area.
I mean, there's boats parked there.
No, I
I
mean,
mean,
where you would put it
Yeah.
is not where the boats park, but where the shed is and in there. I'm just saying there's it's not,
no,
it's not its best
it doesn't
use.
have a function at
yeah,
the
it doesn't,
moment.
it's not its best use, yeah.
We'll also add a little life to the equipment because you get it out of the salt air for that much longer.
And is it, you said that this is is it sort of a prefab kind of thing, building?
Middle building.
Yeah, just a regular.
It's what we have down at the Eastern Shore parking lot, like the lifeguards are in.
Yep.
Something like that.
Mark? Just on the cost on the building, 60,000, that would include the foundation, but it would not include the electrical and the plumbing.
It would be right, should include the slab, but I have a small amount of leftover revenue from the Eastern Shore pier build, which I think we're putting towards that now, so that should finish the building off. Tread carefully.
And one last thing is on building those piers or the docks, you're gonna need saws and.
I got that.
You already have that equipment, okay.
Cool.
That's-
Good.
Okay, good.
Dimensions, of the new building.
It's 50 by 30.
Yeah, it's pretty good size.
I'm going by you know, I'm looking online at what the prices are of them and getting quotes for foundations and putting the two together and,
Yeah.
you know, we got the water entrance is taken care of and the electrical entrance has been decided and
No, that's great, it's, well needed.
I'm hoping we can do it for that, I really am, I'm trying to.
And I assume the surrounding the building in the picture is not an accurate representation of the future.
It'll be sand.
It's Tina's outfield.
Nice landscape.
That's Tina's outfield.
The golf green.
What picture are we looking at? I can't
Oh, the
remember
one
now.
with that shows the picture of the building with the
All the
green
grass.
grass and the
Oh,
trees.
yeah, oh,
The golf
Yeah,
course
yeah,
green.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
exactly.
It'll be beautiful. Who's gonna mow it though?
Yeah, exactly.
Then you're gonna buy a mower.
Okay, so the next one is the truck on page 103.
Yeah, that's kind of a no-brainer, I mean, the truck is in excellent shape, it's got 30,000 miles on it. You cannot buy a truck like that, that year for $20,000.
Oh, absolutely.
We got it at a good time when the interest rates were low, the lease was, and they did offer a 2-year extension, which we're at the end of next September,
What year is that truck, 2020?
2020.
You're not gonna buy a truck
It's like
less
new.
than that.
It's, well,
30,000.
30,000. We use it.
It's only got 30,000 miles on it,
Yeah,
it's
that's all.
2020?
Alright, any other question, Mark? Bill?
Nope.
Anything else from Arbor?
For me.
No?
Any more money?
Mike, thank you
Doing
very
well,
much.
thank you.
Nice
Thank you very
job,
much.
Mike.
Nice job.
Thank you.
We do have one thing that we should go back to. We tabled the motion on the Wells Historical Society, which is page 106 on grants. There was a question we asked at that time about a Gunkwitz contribution, and we were told that a Gunkwit did contribute 25,000, is that right?
last year they were 20 and this year it's 25.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so we have that answer, okay? So we're sitting on a request of 42,874. Okay, that was what was tabled. Bill had some questions. I will just say that Bill can raise the questions he wants, but or his concerns, but my view of it is that if we give people money, we're not micromanaging how they spend it. If we don't like how they're spending it, then we don't give them money, or we cut it. That's kind of our control, but once we give money, it's like, once you give someone a present, you don't have any control over it. But go ahead, Bill, if you have, I know you had some concerns.
And I don't have Indian blood, but
You don't have what?
Indian gifts, yeah.
That's actually the white man giver. It's the white man who broke the treaties. If we wanna get political.
Anyway, I mean, I just had some reserves on some of the spending that had been projected out by the director. I think by and large, the Historical Society is doing very well, they're working very hard in terms of gathering revenues and doing what they're doing in terms of categorizing and collecting artifacts and documents and you name it. I think one thing I'd like to see at one point, which has nothing to do with what we'll do at this point or next year, but I would like to see a balance sheet.
See what?
Balance sheet.
Balance sheet.
I don't know, 99.
Do they give a 990?
Yeah, but it wouldn't tell you much, would it?
Well, it gives you a,
No, we
So-
didn't get that information, so.
So, let's do this. I'll take a motion if anybody wants to, for the 42,874. Right, anybody wanna make a motion for any money to the Wells Historical Society?
So made.
Oh, you're gonna move, anybody second that motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, Bill seconded it. Any other questions? Okay, all those in favor? Okay. Motion to adjourn?
Nope,
No?
I wanna have a discussion about
Oh,
licensing fees.
go ahead.
How do we get the Board of Selectmen to start moving on them? This is the third year in a row, as Brian has said, that we've discussed it.
Yep.
It's also that if we wait every year until the budget cycle, it's too late to move these licenses up where they belong.
So I will just say that my view is that we've already voted down the revenues for
Town clerk.
what?
Town clerk.
Town clerk, right? We voted
Yep.
down those revenues. Cause it's $30,000 we were proposing for lodging fees as revenue. I mean, or
It's-
something like that, right?
It's just not
Versus-
a lot that though, it's.
Versus, no, I understand, versus 650, so here's my thought, and I'll let anybody else. I think the way it comes to is we vote at the end, when it comes time to vote on the warrant article, against all revenue for the town.
Okay, but the issue is if the selectmen wanna do something about it, then we should act on it now.
Yeah.
And not let it go by, and so.
Right.
I mean, instead of waiting to reconciliation, this is the time to do it while we're in the budget process.
But that, you bringing it up now is a good, thing, it's what we did last week to vote against the revenue.
We also
So we're
voted last
sending a
year to bring
message
it,
to
send
the
it
select
forward.
board, we're sending a message to the select board that we think this needs to be done. And the way we ultimately can send a message if it doesn't get done is to vote against revenues. It'll probably pass warrant, it's reconciliation. If there's no movement, at reconciliation, we don't reconcile. And we end up with these votes on our town warrant articles that show the budget committee recommending against revenues. Select board will probably vote, I'm just guessing, vote in favor of the revenues. Revenues probably, if they don't, they pass, right? But that's the only, I think, basically, and if the select board doesn't move, there's not much we can do. Except that. But if anybody else has any other ideas,
No,
Happy
that
to
seems
hear 'em.
reasonable, that seems reasonable.
it's not a good look.
Nope, no. Nope, but I just, we're in the budget season,
Yep.
if they're gonna raise the revenues anywhere, they need to look at it now, before we get too much further.
We already know, we talked about it last time, we're sitting on at least $600,000 that we could be collecting in just one area.
And there's many areas to look
Yeah,
at it.
yeah.
I mean, we haven't really done a lot of fee balancing on licenses in a long time.
And these are fees that basically born ultimately, cause we shouldn't kid ourselves that the fees, particularly the lodging fees that we're talking about, aren't passed on to the consumer. And it's the explosion of the consumers in the summer that explode onto our infrastructure, requiring more police, more fire, more EMS, more roads. What do we go to, 40,000 people, 45,000 people?
Almost 50, 45.
Almost 50,000 people in the summer, or with the shoulder seasons, I'm sure. And we're talking, there's debates about, and I'm not running for office, by the way, but there are debates about, increasing fees on our residents for the transfer station. And I don't think we're putting our effort towards collecting money from people who caused the explosion of our population. They're not gonna stop coming.
And their businesses.
Right, but even if they pass it on to the ultimate consumer, people are not gonna stop coming.
Oh, I agree.
And they, it's just doesn't drive people away. So, I don't know, anybody else have any ideas?
Well, no,
Richard?
but what was the figure you just used, you said 650,000, was that Brian's estimate?
That's Brian's estimate based
Okay.
on.
What was that
It was
per-
based on the
$10 a
number of-
room?
No, it was based on the number of rooms.
Yeah.
And the number of campsites at $100 each per year,
$100 per room and a campsite?
and campsite per year.
Yeah, but a room, you gotta understand, in the middle of the summer, a room's all, $300. You get $300 for a room in the middle of the summer.
We're talking a
Yeah.
year.
A year, we're talking, not every single
No, I
time.
know.
And
I mean,
we
the other
have-
thing we could talk about is putting in a hotel room tax in the town of
Yes.
Wells, but we don't wanna do that.
Yes.
What are we now, $10?
We're $1 a site
$1 a site, but
with
$10
a maximum of $100.
Yeah.
So if you have 250 sites, it's $100,
But for a
And it-
hotel room, it's $10, right?
$10.
And right now, the majority of the campgrounds owned in the town are owned by outside corporations that have
Yeah.
raised their fees tremendously.
And most, it's correct, I think most of the campsites are not, I don't even know what a campsite goes, if you can find one for a night. But if they go for a night, I'm told they go for close to $100 or more for a campsite. But if it's a seasonal, you're upwards 7, 8, 10,
7 to 10.
12,000.
That's what it is right
Yeah.
now.
Well, and face it, people are not gonna be going to Kennebunkport, York, and Gunport to save money.
And they're not gonna go to the Cape.
That's true.
No one goes to the Cape anymore.
Why don't they do a seasonal charge? I mean, just do a seasonal charge, I mean, for per campsite.
Well, it's an annual
That's what we're
fee.
doing, a
It's an annual
$100
licensing
license.
fee.
That's what they want, what
I
Brian
mean,
recommended.
$100
Per site,
per site,
Per
yes,
year.
Yeah.
but not per camp, but per site.
per site,
Per person, yeah.
not
not
per
per
person,
Well,
per site.
family,
One time, one fee, $100.
If you have 100 campsites, it's $100 per campsite.
What's that, $10,000?
I'm thinking per trailer or whatever the hell it is, $20 per trailer per season or whatever.
No, because the licensing fee is for a site or a room. There's also a personal property tax on these trailers that people leave all year round on a campsite.
What do we get out of those, average, for a personal property tax?
It depends on
Ballpark,
the age, some of them are $50, some of them are if they have out rooms and stuff like that, it could be $300-400.
okay, so I'm paying more in excise tax on my pickup truck to live in the town than they are to be a registered property owner.
Well, and when you think about it, what people are, we talk about the issues with the transfer station. What is a pickup, what are the companies charging? $80? Somebody told me $85 a month?
For what, for trash?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna be moving up to about 185 for recycling.
No, he's talking about for,
Curbside
no, for the guys like Tyler
Oh.
Boston and all those people.
Yeah. You're right.
85 bucks? I'm just saying it's.
Everything's starting to
Everything's
cost a lot of
going
money.
Yep.
And we need to stop balancing it on the residents
Right.
who live here year round and start getting it out of where it belongs.
Our tax rate is low still, but we're looking at a 13% increase.
Yeah.
Because we're having to hire people, add police officers, buy an extra ambulance, right? We're not running one ambulance with 2 people per day.
Running 3.
Exactly.
Three.
In the summer, they're nonstop.
Yep. No, I agree, and that's why I say we need to go to the user-based fees. And, you know, these are businesses that are sitting there, that they may own the hotel room, but they're a business. They may own the campground, but they're a business, so they should be paying their fair share. Not saying, you know, the beach is gonna be taken care of the leftover by the residents who can't even get to them because there's so many people on it.
Well, how do you establish a fair share though? I mean, what are other
The
communities?
licensing fee,
I'm sorry?
the licensing fee.
Well, we're gonna go from $10 to $100, that's what you're proposing. What are the other communities
Because
doing?
it doesn't matter the other communities.
Well, I think
We're the
you
only
gotta-
ones, we're the only ones around that have this many
Wait,
units.
Scott. Scott, hold it, no.
No,
Scott.
what- does anybody
Let
know
him
what,
talk.
I mean, I
This is
know
a
we
budget
don't have to
committee
base
meeting.
on other communities, but let's be reasonable. I mean.
We are being reasonable. It's very reasonable.
So, sorry, Scott,
didn't tell
this
me
is a
anything
budget
other
committee
than-
discussion.
We've been at $10 since 2005. Never an increase. You can't substantiate like that. If we should have been bringing it up every few years, but we haven't. And at this point, we have a lot of uses that are coming into town. We've grown with housing, we've grown with the number of calls with the ambulance and everything else. And it's not fair to the residents to completely balance the budget on just taxpayers.
Oh, I agree with you 100% on
You know?
increasing the fees, but I'm just talking about where should the fee structure go to?
Right. So
You're almost
what-
like quadrupling.
So I think what's gonna happen, what we're essentially asking is that the select board do a workshop on this, do something, have a discussion. And
We
Yeah,
already
and it's
talked
not
about
just the
that.
hotels,
Yeah.
it's the campgrounds.
yeah,
It's also, we also need to be licensed in the Airbnbs that are out there that aren't paying their fair share. They're a business, you know, we need to get all these things under one roof and be charging for them. Instead of saying to the person out back, hey, your taxes are going up 13% this year, you know?
Would there be any rationale to having a joint workshop so you can share in opinions? I don't know
Well,
whether the
we're
board would
welcome-
have
we're
an
wel-
interest in
we-
that.
we are open to be involved. I mean, I
Well,
don't
we're
think it's a
we're
good
fighting a lot
idea.
of discourse.
I don't
Yeah, we
think
can't
it-
have a discussion
right.
here.
I
That's
understand
right.
that.
We would
That's
have
right.
it at the workshop,
That's
that's
what
the
I'm
only
wondering.
place to have it,
Yes.
really.
Correct.
And in public, so that everybody
Yes.
can.
Can
But
I
we
make
Right.
a request though, if we're going to have a joint workshop, could we do a survey of surrounding communities to compare our fees versus what is being charged in other areas?
I think we can do that. What I think is interesting though about that, I'll just say right now about that whole argument is that argument, including from me, sorta is made based on whether we like the comparison, right? So we compared what other towns were doing on building fees. We didn't end up doing that as a town. We are not doing what other towns are doing with their building fees. So we're still leaving significant amount of money, even though we increased
I
our
agree.
building fees, right?
Yep.
And so that it's, you know, sometimes we were talking about this with the grants. We're more generous than other towns.
Still good information. I mean, you
It
don't,
is, I'm not saying it's
I don't
not,
have a
I'm just,
problem,
I'm
I don't
just-
have a problem
yeah.
doing, like Scott says, we need to
Yes,
go out and look,
yeah.
but we also need
I
to
think-
ask them, how many hotels do you have in your town? How many campgrounds do you have in your town? And how many Airbnbs do you have in your town? And see what the impact that their
Yeah.
locations have on their town. I think we have the most hotels in any town around, by far.
the most campsites, that's for
And
sure.
I know we got the most
Absolutely.
campsites.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
So I mean,
surprised.
that's impacts that are on the town,
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, you know, just because a business is there. All those people, they're here for a reason, what's the reason? They're here because they wanna be on Wells Beach, Moody Beach, or wherever they wanna go to. And, you know,
It's not just that, this is a nice town, it's well run,
well run,
it's, the select board's awesome, you know. Town manager's wicked cool, I mean, you know, no, but we have
That's for
a,
sure.
we have a good police department. We
Yep.
have good fire, good
Friendly town.
EMS, I mean,
The friendliest
we are
town
the
in
friendliest
Maine.
town in Maine.
no, I mean,
That would be a good, we should put that on a sign. So, yeah, but I'm serious though, is there, it's not just the beach. I mean, this is
no,
a
no, so-
great
it's a great
place
town, but
to
at the
be,
same
so.
time, at the same time, we have to look into the future, I mean, we
Yes.
have EMS coming, there's no doubt about it.
Yep.
You guys are gonna bring them in, so that's amount of money, I mean,
Beating a
next
dead
week,
horse here.
next week I do have a lot of recommendations for the fire department, so
Beating a dead
when
horse
we get there tomorrow,
Not
rather,
exactly.
so.
Not dead, but
It's not dead.
beating it.
When the horse is dead, get off. That's what Confucius said.
So, I mean,
The horse is not dead.
can I make a motion that we request a meeting with the selectmen to discuss fees?
I'll second that. All those in favor?
A workshop.
A workshop,
Workshop.
a workshop. Alright. And we'll look at what other towns do. Alright, Dave,
Make a motion to adjourn.
second? Alright, Richard seconds, all those in favor? Alright.
Oh.